Hi, I'm Sabai Tazaz. Canada's immigration debate seems to have taken a new turn. The federal government, led by newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney, has introduced what they're calling a new border bill that proposes significant changes to how Canada handles refugee claims, among other things, and it expands the powers of border security officials. This is known as the Strong Borders Act. The government is framing it as a way to improve the asylum system and respond to growing pressure from the United States and Donald Trump about fentanyl trafficking. But there are many who are worried about its timing, about potential legal and human rights impacts.
They should be alarming to many Canadians. The bill is 126 pages long. I've not had a chance to review the bill in its entirety, but looking at it, particularly with respect to the immigration provisions, is very concerning to me that the government will now be breaching, I think, people's civil liberties. I think violating people's due process and taking away people's basic rights.
So, which one is it? The Star's political reporter Mark Ramzy is joining me from Ottawa to try to untwist some of this and break down the bill. Hi, Mark. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Mark, what are the three most important things that Canadians need to understand about this new bill?
So this is the first legislation put up by this new Liberal government led by Mark Carney. So it does a few main things. It gives new powers to law enforcement agencies, from local police all the way to CSIS, which is our intelligence agency, to make them able to do their work better on several fronts. That includes, new powers for border agencies to check exports, not just imports, mainly targeting auto thefts or drugs leaving Canada, which is an irritant for Donald Trump. Making it easier for police to get people's data like IP addresses and subscriber information for criminal investigations, making it easier to share intelligence among police agencies and with the US, restricting cash transactions. It also makes quite a few changes to our immigration system, restricting asylum claims in a pretty big way, and allowing government officials to cancel or change immigration documents in certain circumstances.
So the bill goes quite more extensively than just the border control stuff. There's data sharing and there's other aspects as well. What is the government saying in terms of what this bill is meant to address? How is it being framed? And do you think that aligns with what's actually happening at the border?
I mean, you put it perfectly. I mean, you just have to look at how it's being named to see like how they're selling it. It's called the Strong Borders Act. The goal here is to adjust legislation to, they're saying to secure the border, to combat transnational organized crime, fentanyl, and to stop money laundering and the financing that makes it, go. Of course, the elephant in the room here is Donald Trump, who paved the way for this focus on the border with his complaints on this issue. But government officials have also insisted this is about protecting Canadians. Part of it is also about modernizing laws. Law enforcement agencies and elected officials have been warning that, these big crime groups are operating on a transnational level and are getting more sophisticated with technology and that kind of thing. A lot of the things that it does are things that law enforcement agencies have been asking for a while. So, even Trump is the cause of this bill kind of happening now, but a lot of it is about things that have been kind of raised for a while.
Mhm. But as you mentioned, there's so many components to this bill, and we've seen that it has triggered some strong reactions, especially from human rights groups and legal communities, raising questions about the legal concerns and also some civil rights, charter rights aspects. What are some of the core concerns you've been observing?
You're absolutely right. And the main things that I've been hearing so far are, of course, about, how we're going to be treating vulnerable refugees or people coming here to seek refugee status, including people who have, so far followed the rules and now the rules are just, changing on them and they face uncertainty. There's also always concern about giving police and giving government more powers over people's privacy and just over people's lives in general. Including here is some aspects where it's unclear if, a warrant is no longer needed for police to check certain things about people. or if they say that there is a great need for it, including, for example, one of the things the bill does is allowing police and Canada Post to check people's mail for criminal investigations. Now, the public safety minister, who is a former human rights lawyer, has tried to calm fears on this. He said he believes that the right balance was struck, but I think the pressure is only going to get bigger as kind of more details come out. Right now, things appear a bit unclear.
So, do you see this as a shift in Canada's immigration policy, or how do we see this as a signaling a little bit about where the Liberal Party and Prime Minister Carney himself is headed politically?
Hmm. I'd say, I mean, a lot of this does represent what we heard Mark Carney campaign on, and what we heard from him kind of this new direction. Obviously, there's a desire to kind of shift away from Justin Trudeau and his legacy leading the Liberal Party. Concerns about immigration had been rising for a while, and even before Trudeau left, he had made some adjustments. And public safety was also a top of mind issue during the elections. We've reported that the Liberals thought that part of why they didn't get to a majority, especially, losing votes in areas like the GTA, was because of crime. So it's addressing some realities that, on some of these issues, the Conservatives had seemed to be resonating a bit more with people. And now there's also the Trump factor. But for the government, of course, it's can you justify the need for all of these things aside from just the current political wins?
Well, thank you, Mark, for this bit of a rapid fire round. Really appreciated it.
Thank you.
So that's a wrap on this mini pod, but you can read Mark Ramzy's and Nicholas Kyung's detailed reporting on thestar.com. And we will also have a longer, more in-depth conversation with both reporters on this matters. So don't forget to tune in wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're able to, do support our journalism by subscribing to The Star. I'm Sabayat Azaz. Thanks for watching.